The sun began its gentle, unhurried descent behind the towering pines, its warm yet timid rays slowly stepping away from the busy demands of the day. Harper sat at her sleek, silver laptop, a faithful, modern companion that had borne witness to both her triumphs and trials, with its lid glinting in the dwindling light like a quiet secret, shared only with the dusk. With an almost ritualistic precision, she closed her laptop with a soft, deliberate click that echoed faintly in the room as if marking the end point of another day's journey. In the same measured moment, she raised her arms high, stretching each limb in a silent declaration of relief, the act releasing every trace of the day's accumulated tension, as if letting go of invisible strings that had bound her heart and mind. Each exhalation felt like a small release of history, a letting go of every burden before her eyes turned to the horizon. Outside, the golden light of the waning day spilled in gentle waves, filtering delicately through the sheer curtains that danced with the slight breeze. The light, warm and inviting, created an illusion of a world softly tinted with honey and amber. It bathed the cozy lakeside cabin in a glow that was both nostalgic and hopeful. The elongated, serene shadows it cast upon the worn, polished wooden floors told stories of countless footsteps. Each dent and scratch was a note in the melody of time that resonated throughout the space. The interior of the cabin, with its carefully curated furnishings and memories captured in every corner, seemed to come alive in this retreat of light and shadow. Beyond the glass pane that framed this tableau, the lake itself shimmered in an ethereal blend of peach and rose hues. Its surface was completely still, a vast mirror reflecting the twilight sky with an almost otherworldly clarity. The reverence of the scene was underscored by the soft awareness that night was soon to unfurl its quiet wings. In the reflective water, long after the last rays of sunlight had scattered, the sky maintained its palette as if a master artist had intentionally left the strokes unfinished. In the distance, the plaintive call of a loon reverberated across the placid waters, a haunting, ancient melody that resonated like a lullaby passed down from nature itself. The note of that call was both evocative and somber, stirring within Harper feelings that were as timeless as the water and as deep as the sky. The transition from one state to another was as smooth as the flow of a gentle melody. Harper rose slowly and deliberately, her every movement imbued with an air of calmness, reserved only for those hours when day submits to night. With graceful intentionality, she left her intimate workspace, a small corner dedicated to thoughts, ideas, and careful planning, and meandered into the heart of her home, the kitchen, a space that was as much a sanctuary as the living room. There, she proceeded to fill a gleaming modern kettle with cool, fresh water drawn from a filtration system that hummed with quiet efficiency. Her eyes wandered momentarily to her neatly arranged collection of herbal teas, each tin a promise of sensory delight and emotional reprieve. It was here that her fingers found the familiar tin containing her favorite blend, a soothing concoction of chamomile, lemon balm, and lavender. The label was simple yet filled with a promise of comfort, of breaking away from the day's gravity, of drifting into a realm of gentle dreams. As the kettle began to hum softly with the rising warmth of the water and the promise of a revitalizing brew, Harper stepped outside onto the creaking wooden porch. That time-worn structure was filled with echoes of past evenings and quiet conversations, bearing the very marks of history that made it unique. The night air greeted her like an old friend, crisp, fresh, and imbued with the delicate aromas of pine and lake water. Inhaling deeply, she felt as though every breath purified her spirit, washing away the residual stresses and leaving behind only the promise of renewal. There on the porch, an inviting swing beckoned from beneath the expanse of a starlit sky. Although the swing was slightly weathered, its dependability was unquestioned, offering the same unwavering comfort that had soothed countless souls before her. As she settled into its creaking yet reassuring embrace, Harper wrapped a soft, knitted shawl snugly around her shoulders, a piece that seemed woven from the gentle memories of many tranquil evenings. Her gaze slowly lifted to the treetops, where branches swayed rhythmically in the mild caress of the wind, casting subtle patterns of dance against the rippling canvas of twilight. Each oscillation of the branches, every nuanced movement of the leaves, harmonized with the lowering sun, which draped the world in the soft, diffused hues of a watercolor masterpiece. With each measured breath, Harper felt herself sinking with the tranquil heartbeat of the lake, her body, mind, and soul gradually surrendering to the undeniable calm that only dusk can bestow. It was during that brief but poignant moment of connection that the kettle's shrill yet cheerful whistle called her back indoors, a reminder that the comforting ritual of tea preparation was not to be overlooked. Carefully stepping back inside, with the lingering caress of cool evening air still dancing on her skin, she set about preparing her tea with a mindful grace reminiscent of a sacred ceremony. The kettle, still humming, had transformed the once cool water into a promise of warmth, ready to envelop her senses. With practiced and tender care, she added her favorite blend into the steeping water, ensuring that every note of chamomile, every whisper of lemon balm and lavender would infuse the brew with its gentle and soothing properties. Soon, a familiar aromatic steam drifted upward, carrying with it the soft, ethereal scent of nature's bounty. The fragrance was both an invitation and a reminder to pause, to savor, and to appreciate simplicity. Holding a steaming cup in her hands, she stepped back out onto the porch, where the cool evening air mingled with the aromatic warmth of her tea. She took a long, mindful sip, allowing each delicate note of chamomile to blend harmoniously with the subtle hints of lemon balm and lavender, a delicate symphony that resonated deeply within her. The warmth of the tea spread through her like gentle sunlight, each mellow contraction of her muscles, each fleeting heartbeat bathed in a tranquil glow that seemed to promise an oasis of peace. Once her tea had been savored harvestingly and its final drops absorbed into the evening, Harper began a slow, deliberate wander through her cabin, a place where art and heart coexisted with the quiet harmony of daily rituals. Her movements were imbued with a meditative intention, each step echoing the silent gratitude of a day well lived. Starting in the living room, she reached for the soft, inviting blanket that had already been draped over the well-loved couch, a cherished object that had borne witness to countless stories and whispered conversations. With gentle precision, she folded the blanket neatly, as if each crease held a memory of a treasured moment, embedding a sense of order and calm that spread like a subtle magic throughout her space. From the living room, her path led her to a small, sunlit shelf where a clustered collection of books awaited her careful attention. Each book was a portal to distant worlds and inner landscapes, universes that had provided both solace and insight during late hours and quiet reflections. With tender care, she arranged the books, aligning them with a reverence for both their weight and essence, knowing that in this small ritual lay the power to weave together the threads of her reality. A used mug, its ceramic surface marked with the faint memories of earlier conversations and laughter, found its way into the sink, a simple action that was both an acknowledgement of the day's end and a prelude to the promise of a peaceful night. In this quiet space of self-care, every movement was akin to a delicate dance, a graceful tribute to the art of living in moments of tender solitude. As the familiar patterns of the evening deepened, she reached for another cherished ritual, the lighting of her modest candle. This was no grand affair. It was a humble, intimate ceremony, steeped in ritual significance. The candle, made of soy wax and infused with the earthy aromas of cedar and the gentle sweetness of vanilla, was a silent vow to nurture the present moment. With a careful, almost reverential hand, Harper ignited the wick. The gentle flicker of the flame cast a soft glow across the room, its radiant tenderness dimming the harsh overhead lights to a level that conspired with the natural ambiance. Soon, the entire space was swathed in a serene and calming radiance, a light that bridged the waking world with the dreamscape of nighttime. Almost on cue, a soothing acoustic guitar melody began to drift softly from a small, unobtrusive speaker. The music was a cascade of tender strums that mingled with the ambient hum of the evening and the lull of nature's own chorus. Each note seemed to meander through the air, carrying with it the timeless essence of comfort and introspection. Entranced by its mellifluous tune, Harper allowed herself to be drawn toward the bathroom, a sanctuary of its own kind, where the promise of refreshment and purification awaited her. Within the bathroom's tiled embrace, she stepped into a warm, cascading shower. As the water flowed in gentle, cascading streams, it felt as though it were embracing her like an old friend, its touch a soothing balm for both body and soul. The steady patter of the water on the tiled walls created a quiet symphony, harmonizing with the distant melody of the guitar as each droplet washed away remnants of the day. The soothing scent of lavender body wash mingled with the warmth of the cascade, infusing the space with an aura reminiscent of blooming summer fields. As Harper massaged her scalp slowly with the gentle water and fragrant lather, her thoughts drifted away from the mundane and into a realm of tranquility and grateful reverie, a rare moment of solitude that reminded her of the gentle cadence of life. After what felt like an interlude of emotional renewal, Harper emerged from the shower. The water droplets clung to her skin like tiny jewels, reflecting the soft lighting and adding an air of delicate vibrancy to the moment. With a measured grace, she wrapped herself in a plush, fluffy towel that seemed to warm her from the inside out. Every fiber of the towel spoke of gentle comfort and the slow, loving care afforded to oneself at the close of a long day. Then followed another cherished ritual, a few unhurried minutes dedicated to her skincare routine. In front of a mirror that had quietly listened to her confidences in the past, Harper tenderly massaged a delicate rosehip serum into her skin. Each careful stroke was a celebration of self-compassion, each small movement a reaffirmation of her worth. Slowly, almost ceremonially, She brushed her teeth with a rhythm that bordered on the sacred, appreciating even the simplest acts of self-care. Finally, she applied her favorite nighttime lotion, ensuring that every inch of her skin was nurtured with the thorough, loving touch that bridged the day's efforts with the promise of restful sleep. Her reflection in the mirror transformed into an image of serene beauty, a visage softened by the quiet glow of inner peace and bathed in the tender light of dusk. The passage of time, measured in quiet acts and serene rituals, led Harper to her bedroom, a sanctum where dreams awaited their invitation. With a deliberate slowness, she slipped into her softest pajamas, the fabric caressing her skin like a whisper of silk. A pair of wool socks followed, providing an extra layer of coziness that reminded her of the gentle embrace of an old friend. Every step towards the bed was a gentle descent into reverie, a move toward a much-deserved respite. The cool, smooth sheets that awaited her on the bed welcomed her as if they too were alive, promising the sweetest of dreams and a night unmarred by the chaos of daylight. At the foot of the bed, nestled in a quiet corner, lay her beloved cat, Willow, a serene presence whose curling form and rhythmic purr embodied the unconditional comfort of a true companion. As Harper nestled gently beside Willow, the two of them formed a tranquil tableau, a human and her animal friend in quiet communion with the night. Before the final act of surrendering to sleep, Harper reached for the book resting on her nightstand, a tender, slow-paced novel that had gradually become a trusted companion through countless evenings. With the soft, ambient glow of a delicate lamp caressing her features, she allowed herself to be drawn into its quiet narrative. The book's words whispered promises of distant worlds, where time was measured in pauses and gentle breaths, coaxing her further into a state of introspection and gentle sleep. Each sentence, carefully read in the flickering light, carried her deeper into a labyrinth of thought where fantasy and reality intertwined. It was in these quiet moments, between the turning of pages and the steady rhythm of her heartbeat, that Harper found herself on the threshold of a dreamscape, a realm where every worry was set adrift and every hope was revived by the simple magic of well-chosen words. As the narrative wove its delicate spell, Harper's eyelids grew heavy. The world around her, the gentle murmur of leaves stirred by a light breeze outside, the distant, melancholic call of the lone loon echoing over the still waters, and even Willow's steady, comforting purr, all coalesced into a soft symphony of peace. With each final, deliberate deep breath, she allowed herself to sink a little further beneath the soft, inviting covers, the world slowly fading into the background. In that tender moment, she marked her place in the story with a graceful gesture, a bookmark of sorts that promised a return to these words when the morning light once again beckoned. Finally, with one final deep and deliberate breath, Harper exhaled slowly, releasing every remaining thought, every lingering echo of the day's engagements. The bed, with its cool, crisp sheets and the gentle weight of sleep waiting just beyond the dawn, framed her final moments of wakefulness. Safe, warm, and utterly at peace, she surrendered herself to the embrace of sleep. In that serene twilight between dreams and waking, she drifted effortlessly, a delicate balance between the present and the promise of a new day. Cradled by the still, silent beauty of the lake and the comforting intimacy of her carefully cherished evening rituals. As the minutes stretched into a timeless night, the world around Harper seemed to breathe with her, a quiet, reflective union of nature and soul. The soft rustle of the wind reassured her that time was both constant and fleeting, a reminder that every moment was an opportunity to embrace the gentle rhythm of life. Even as the darkened sky deepened into a blanket of indigo sprinkled with the first hints of starlight, the memory of the day's beauty lingered as a soft glow within her heart. Outside, the lake continued to mirror the subtle transitions of the sky, its surface now an endless tapestry of shifting hues, from deep, comforting blues to faint blushes that spoke of the day's lingering warmth. The gentle call of the loon, though distant, remained a soothing echo, reminding her that nature, in its infinite wisdom, had orchestrated all these details with profound love. Hours later, in the cocoon of sleep that cradled her, Harper's dreams mingled with the whispered recollections of the day, a montage of golden lights, rustling leaves, and quiet moments of self-reflection. Each dream was a delicate continuation of the evening's narrative, a vivid tapestry interwoven with symbols of renewal, gratitude, and quiet introspection. In those dreams, the pines danced with the stars, the lake sang with the language of time, and her heart soared free above the constraints of everyday life. The memory of the warm tea, the soft murmur of a favorite song, and the lingering aroma of lavender all fused together into a symphony of solace that carried her ever deeper into the night. While the world slept in its familiar cadence, the cabin itself seemed to breathe with quiet reverence, a living, pulsing tribute to the subtle art of living fully and tenderly. Each creak of the wooden floor, every sigh of the wind outside the window, and even the soft murmur of Willow's purr became part of a larger, sacred dialogue between Harper and her surroundings. In that dialogue, every object and every sound spoke of comfort, of memories woven intricately like threads in a cherished tapestry, and of the beauty inherent in the everyday rituals that imbued her life with meaning. Long into the night, as moonlight took over the sun's waning glow and bathed the cabin in silvery luminescence, Harper's heart remained attuned to the subtle cadence of her inner world. Her thoughts, though drifting on the edge of sleep, still grasped silently for the meaning hidden in every whispered note of the night's song. The dance between light and shadow that had begun with the setting sun now continued, delicately unfolding as a symphony played out through each element of her sanctuary. Memories, hopes, and unspoken dreams floated gently through the space, mingling with the soft strains of a guitar melody that, even in sleep, seemed to echo the secrets of the universe. In a final, tender act of farewell to the day, Harper's dreams wove together every gentle ritual that had sustained her throughout the evening. The soft pages of her book, the aroma of her herbal tea, the graceful hum of the kettle, and the everlasting presence of nature's own lullaby merged into a single, luminous vision, a testament to the power of quiet moments, the beauty of simplicity, and the timeless truth that every day, no matter how ordinary, could be transformed into an exquisite celebration of life. As the hours passed and the night deepened into the early silence before dawn, the cabin remained a sanctuary of light and shadow, a haven where every whispered memory, every lingering taste of chamomile and lavender permanently affirmed a simple reality, that in the act of releasing the day, in the gentle surrender to the night's embrace, there existed infinite space for renewal. And so, with the soft, steady rhythm of Willow's purring as her nighttime metronome, Harper's soul, lulled by the harmony of quiet life, drifted deeper into dreams, a journey marked by the tender promise that each night was but a prelude to a fresh, luminous dawn. It was in this transcendent quiet, embraced by the soft hues of moonlight, that Harper found the ultimate expression of inner peace, a serenity born not just of external beauty, but of a life lived with mindfulness, gratitude, and a ceaseless reverence for every nuanced moment. In her dreams, the pine trees whispered ancient secrets, the lake shimmered as if it were a portal to realms untouched by time, and every small, deliberate act of self-care became an echo of her inner grace, a grace that had slowly unfurled in the deliberate rhythms of her evening routine and continued to guide her gently into the boundless sanctuary of sleep. Thus, as Harper surrendered completely to the night, one could almost feel the reverberations of her quiet journey, a journey measured in the warmth of a teacup, the soft glow of a flickering candle, and the echoing notes of a guitar. Every element of her sanctuary, from the timeless pines to the shimmering lake and every gentle whisper of the evening wind, bore silent witness to her passage into rest. And while the world outside remained vast and mysterious with its endless canvas of twilight, within the cabin, enveloped by long-held rituals and the boundless majesty of her inner world, Harper found solace in the simple act of letting go, a surrender that was as profound as it was gentle, as transient as it was eternal. Under that silent, infinite sky, where every star held the light of ancient stories, and every breeze carried a soft reminder of nature's eternal cycle, the night grew deep and peaceful. Through dreams imbued with the quiet power of reflection and the soft cadence of remembered moments, Harper drifted away, a cherished soul cradled in the tender arms of her own carefully cultivated haven, where each night was an enduring testament to the beauty of living simply and meaningfully.